welcome to Abracadabra, create what you speak. I'm iLan Azoulai, your host, spiritual mentor, sound therapist, for you who are ready to remember your gifts and bring them out to the world. And with me, of course, is wonderful Gina Ann. Hello, Gina.
Hello.
How are you?
Great. We're at the...
Gina is an intuitive counselor and inner child specialist. For those of you who don't know yet, and we are at this magnificent the botanical garden here in the South Bay, right? South Bay,
correct,
right?
yes.
This is great. So we're looking for a space where we could talk to the camera.
It's a great space for talking and writing and reflecting and nature's medicine.
Medicine is nature. Oh, you know, I look at all these, I look at the trees and I look at even these bushes here that are kind of like squished.
It's like hair.
No, but you know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, it's amazing how everything merges together, how everything is kind of harmonious. Everything is made with complete harmony.
It's like Legos.
Well, Lego you can rearrange like everything else. But,
well, so you can nature. So can emotions.
Oh my goodness. We are off for a great show today.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, another path in this magnificent world. Still looking for a place to sit where we can sit down and converse.
Joyfully exploring.
Joyfully. Yodfully. So here we are. We're in this wonderful botanical garden in the South Shore somewhere.
South Coast Botanical
South
Gardens.
Coast.
And it's like 92 degrees here in Southern California.
So we found this place. That there are a bunch of trees that fell down. I guess they were done with the heat. They said, okay, we're just going down. And so you have to see it around here. Maybe later we'll put a clip of all the trees are down. So we found a bunch of trees and placed the mic, the camera, and here we are. So it's a great day. It's been a great
location spot.
Great location. So, you know what the thing is? It's really about the synergy of everything. How everything is so, how everything is harmonized, how everything comes together, how everything is really just merging. Even the trees that fell, they're like, everything is so harmoniously placed,
Well, for me, this is the only place that it is synergy, because the world, I feel, is faltering and spinning faster. It's spinning backwards and forwards and upside down. So coming to a place like this is very grounding.
Yeah.
No pun intended. So this is where it all makes sense.
Pun intended too, no?
Pun intended.
With the ground.
Yeah,
with the ground
roots. Because these trees, actually, these are growing from the roots, and the roots.
You know what's interesting about the tree? Tree actually goes up against the velocity, against the gravity. It's interesting. So the more you learn, the more you grow.
There's a lot that goes up against gravity.
I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what you mean by that. But anyway, guys, we have a great guys.
Hey, friends.
The guy. Hello, friends.
Hello, friends. Like when I was a teacher for 18 years. Hello, friends.
Hello, my.
That covers all, like, it's because we're stuck on this tree.
Yeah, we're stuck. We're stuck.
You saw we're like this big. We're trying to look like,
like there is a lot of space, but there is not really. Our ass is probably going to hurt very much after this.
Yeah, you should see how many splinters.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
The splinters are worth it.
It's worth it being here with you, and it's worth talking about the things that really matter. I mean, think about this. The last 2 weeks, we've seen there were the Oscars and then there were the Grammys, right? The difference in the shows is night and day.
Well,
first
it's like
of all,
the older one gets in trouble, so the second one says, "I'm not going to do that."
What?
Well, at the Oscars,
I was kind of all out of that.
No. Then the Grammys like, "Well, we're not going to do that." They learned from the first mistake.
That's right.
Oh, there goes Montgomery.
The butterfly.
The butterfly keeps.
Yeah, it's kind of. The butterfly I showed you earlier in the clip. It kind of goes around us here. But the difference in the shows, the Grammys, it was a show. It was geared, because we are in a time of, it's more the media and being more online and everything. Even the elections were like part of the elections were online, but just they didn't get it that it's a TV show. Anyway, the Grammy was much more show. where the Oscar was a
That's because they got don't do this and don't
exactly.
do that.
And the Oscar was a
And,
show.
yeah, it was a shit show.
It was a shit show.
But you know what? What I think what the Oscars brought up was a lot of what it brought up for me is bullying.
Exactly.
And I was bullied, and I was a teacher for many years, and really looked at it from the bully's perspective as well, not condoning the behavior. But I think that's what
condoning the behavior.
No, I don't condone the behavior of a bully.
The behavior, the actual act, not the bully. It's like saying
the behavior I don't condone.
Maybe the person you don't condone, but the act you do condone?
No. I do not condone the act of a bully. So the act that happened at the Oscars, I do not condone. You do not lay a hand on anybody, nor do you use vociferous words of that nature to demean somebody.
No, I mean
the person, I can see where the trauma came from. So I can see the perspective of a bully and have compassion for that, but not condoning the act. That has to have consequences.
That's right. It does have to have consequences. It's funny, because to me, the first thing when I saw that slap, it was like it took me right back into like very old times, you know. And the thing is that at first I felt okay with that. The first initial second I felt okay with that, because I was also I've been bullied in my life since a very young age, been all kind of things, and that really kind of triggered. But what happened that it was okay is because I felt that feeling of being bullied. I felt that feeling of being bullied, just like Chris Rock, which you had to look at his face. I mean, his face was completely out of.
I felt sucker punched.
Wow, this was
I felt
something.
My own reciprocal past trauma of being bullied from. And also the mother instinct came with me, that protectiveness that I wanted to go up to Chris Rock and just give him space and attention.
Right, and a hug.
Because
and a hug
I did.
Kind of
I wanted to just go. If I were there, which my dream is always to go to the Oscars, I would have gone up there. Since the rules were already obliterated, I would go up there. Because no one
and give a hug to
that I saw, and so I really had compassion for him, coming from the place of where I was and what I've seen throughout my years.
This brought up a lot of things. I mean, because this also shows a lot of where the perpetrator is, how he is in his life, and it's interesting because it ties into that to the Friday talk that I talked on Friday about what do we say about other people, about how do we talk about other people. Bullying is one of them, you know, and it is, and you can tell by the action of the perpetrator where his wounds are, and that's really what really it showed. I mean,
and where
it showed how emasculated.
Bullied. Yeah.
Exactly, and the person being bullied. I mean, that's obvious because we're talking about the bullied person. It really shows like where Smith is, his relationship with his wife, his emasculatory actions.
Well,
is there a word like this? Emasculatory?
Now there is. Well, it was toxic all the way around with all the characters involved, because I think everybody's reaction too is really interesting from a psychological standpoint and a spiritual standpoint, to see everybody's reaction around, through, the reciprocal afterwards, the peer pressure, the awkwardness of people going, is that real? Wait, what just happened? And then, it doesn't take away from the performance of this individual, of his acting ability. He's an amazing actor. However, and it has nothing to do with laws and rules, but we do not have the right to touch anybody unless we are in fear of our own lives. Or the lives
to touch in that way.
Yeah.
In that way.
In that way. I mean, in an abusive way. To go up there, he should have been escorted up.
I think he should have been escorted up. I mean, it's like,
and Hollywood always gets a bad rap, but Hollywood is beautiful. Hollywood has been, for me, movies has been my release through bullying. Yeah. I can imagine myself. So, I think this show is going to be a lot of things and touch up a lot of things, but have you ever been bullied, and how did you feel?
Exactly.
It brought up a lot for me, and I was just writing, and my kids have been bullied. We've all been bullied in some fashion, and what I want to really make clear is for example, when we
this is how we are rearranging our seats here.
When we are physically hurt, let's say we drop hot coffee on our hand.
Yeah.
That's a physical pain. What do we want to do? We want to take care of it. When we are emotionally hurt, that is also a real pain. We also have to take care of it. You know, an emotional pain is being isolated, being bullied, feeling lonely, and that has been coming up with my clients of bullying. It's interesting how the theme follows, of who they've been bullied by. They bully themselves as well.
Exactly. You know, this is
so emotional pain is real. Your brain fires up the same way as when if you were to touch a hot stove. The emotional pain, it hits in the same area of the brain.
We just remember it differently.
Yeah.
Because it leads to other things.
Yeah. Well, it's not like childbirth where we do it again, which I think you were bringing up a component
in
we were
childbirth,
talking about the other day.
That
it has no memory.
Yeah, a woman loses about 8% permanent loss, so you don't remember the birthing pain and the birthing process.
Yeah.
So it's like really fascinating. It's fascinating to experience that. And the thing with the bully is that it doesn't go away.
No.
The thing with the bully is that it stays, and what ends up happening, and I can talk from personal experience, what ends up happening, it goes into the place of what kind of people do we attract, right? So when I've been bullied, what happened is it predispositioned me to be in a place that I feel already as if what the bully did to me is true. And here's the thing, if you walk down the street and somebody comes to you and right away says to you, oh, you motherfucker, you are like this and you are like this and you are a liar, and you really didn't, you know. But what happened is, because you have been bullied, because you have a sign, a mark that you have been bullied, and the bullies can recognize that.
Smell it.
They smell it. They see it from 10 miles away. Then you start believing it, and you start walking around believing that if something happens, then they probably are right. That ties into, and I want to add this, and we talked about this in the past, but in a different connotation. That adds to, if you sit in a room, let's say it's an event, a party, and you have 50 people, 100 people there, or whatever that is, and there is a glass or something that shattered and fell across the street, across the room on the other side, who is the first one to get up and fix it? The bullied one. The bullied one, because he wants to satisfy. He wants to please, yeah. Please, dad. Yeah. He wants to please the other side, so he gets up and does that. Not, you know, and here's the thing, and you justify it by, oh, I'm here to serve. Another example is somebody who you walk out with them and they never have a decision. They say, oh, whatever you want is fine with me. Whatever you want is fine with me. Whatever you want, sir, is fine with me. Whatever you want is fine with me. You please. And that's how the bullying, that's how the bullied is being, how this action can be manifested.
And I like how you're not saying victim of the bully, because I think we get tied into because I don't think it's victimization. And I mean the first
we're trying to
but it's great. It's so lovely. We're literally sitting on a tree, which is so lovely. And so even talking about the subject, it being in this environment is helpful.
Yes, because
I remember the first time I was bullied, I was about 4, and it was from a babysitter. And she hated me, and she says, I like your brother Michael better than you. And she would make me go to bed, and I remember, you're not going to get any grapes, but Michael is. And then we were not allowed outside. My mom and dad rarely went out, but they had to have some work function. And so I sat on it. We were outside, and my brother was playing with the neighbor girl Dana, which I was like, when's my turn? Because I always felt I was left out. So
you were left out. You were always left out.
So I sat on a water bottle, but you remember the old sparklet bottles used to be glass. Well, what happened was it was packaged with bubbles, so it was like a bomb. So when I sat on it, it exploded on me.
Yeah.
So I have 10 stitches here, and I have 100 stitches on my leg. And I remember in that moment, like this, and Michael looked at me. Michael was always like, he's my older brother. It was always my protector, you know, I felt. And so he's the one that took care of me. And I remember looking at the babysitter, and she was and hysterical. But there was a thought going in my mind, I'll never have to see her again. Thank you.
So it was worth it. It was worth it.
So I set the pattern in my head that I have to be hurt in order for something good to happen. And I had a knife on me, and it was always girls. Always girls.
Always girls, huh?
Girls.
Well, they felt threatened by you.
It was always my hair or girls. And so I had this one girl on the bus. Her name was Kelly. Oh, I don't want to give her name. Never mind. It's from Texas. And on the bus, and she just didn't like me. I knew she was hurt. I could see it. She was older, and she was tough, and she beat everyone up. And one day she said, I'm coming after you. Her boyfriend at the time had given me attention or whatever it was. And I was just, again, I was like 2 years younger than her. and very quiet, sitting on the bus 21. I can tell you stories about bus 21
Bus
in Aledo,
21.
Texas. So
And then the bus jumped.
So
jumped
then the
21.
next day, I wore a dress. I had one dress to my name, and it was yellow. And I thought, well, she's either gonna kick the shit out of me, but I'm not. I'm like my dad says, you give respect and use your words. But someone lays a hand on you or someone you love,
you lay a foot on
you
them,
make sure
huh?
the motherfucker doesn't get up. That's what he'd say. We're Italian. So the next day, I'll never forget it. She came up to me, and my brother Michael. The only time I ever remember somebody sticking up for me in my entire life. He stood up. I couldn't believe he stood up for me because I thought I was on my own. I just didn't think. And then she backed down. So years and years, 30 maybe years later, when Michael and I had this little disagreement or an impasse in our relationship, why it crushed me so much is because I always thought of him as my protector, and I thought he didn't have my back at the time I needed him, and needed him very much. But since then, we have, you know, it doesn't mean the love was taken away, right? It doesn't mean the love is taken away. And, you know, but these are the instances where where I had to work on myself. It was an opportunity through the years to work on myself and come into my own, because as you said.
So we're back, and after this, the camera got a little overheated from the conversation, you know. No.
and the 92-degree weather.
And the 90-degree weather, and so
I want to take you back.
So we'll go back to the bullying, to that specific
and your
example
experiences
of being bullied. I remember I was I don't know. I remember maybe I was 7 or something like that, 7, 8, around that time. Around the time of and so I remember I went down with the kids, with the neighborhood kids, which I usually
they invited you.
They invited me. Yeah, you've been there, remember? No.
Of course, I was in the kibbutz.
It was a kibbutz, exactly. So they invited me. So they invited me. I was excited. I was excited to be invited by the neighborhood kids, because the whole thing is being invited and being accepted and being seen and being come be with us and everything, right? And I remember we went to this to back of the building, and I was excited, and suddenly I found myself kind of in the middle of everything, and they were like ridiculing, they were like humiliating, they were just saying stuff and doing stuff that was really, and I was like, what was the first thing that came to my mind? First of all, I remember that feeling of closing. And then I remember asking myself, but why? But why? But why does that have to happen? But why does somebody has to have a feeling of overpowering somebody or going over somebody and making fun of them or joking on them or using them as the whatever, the scapegoat or whatever that is?
But that's the gang mentality.
That's the what?
A gang mentality.
A gang mentality.
Like at the Oscars, how they were
Yes,
they all went along with it.
That's exactly. And then eventually they went up to Will Smith and tried to console to him instead of going to Chris Rock. They went to.
Isn't this what's happening in our world with Russia and everyone?
Exactly. Everybody is going to try. Can't you see what is happening? This is what is happening in our world. Look, this is the bully. This is, as it is above, so it is below. As it is over there, so it is over here.
Correct.
This is happening all over and all across. So what happened? This really threw me off. I went home. I don't really remember much of it because I pushed it aside apparently. But I went home. And I cried, and my mom told me, I told you not to play with those kids. Do not play with this. Come on, So there are two things here. There is the way that the parents respond also, right? The parents that respond, that actually I feel that my parents, the way that they responded, or my mom, because my dad was at work.
Just adjusting.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Is enabled my victimhood and enabled the bullyhood.
That's right.
Enabled because if I think if my dad was there, or if one of my brothers was say, go kick their ass. I remember actually my brother Avi. He was one on the show. I told him about a kid that bullied me, and then he caused me to trip. He says, "You next time show me the kid, and I will show you how to make a Persian carpet out of him." That's how it is. And you know what's the noise of a carpet? How does a carpet make? You know the noise of a carpet?
I only know the magic carpet. Oh, okay.
Anyway,
I don't know.
But anyway,
when we would slide on it, it would go shoo.
No, because it would go like.
Oh.
It goes.
It depends how slick. My mom cleaned that floor like.
Like you could spit on it. And
yeah,
you could
we'd
eat
go in
from
our
it,
socks. Yeah, we could eat on it. So, but that's a good
anyway,
point about the parents. I want to lead into that
yeah,
because I want
ahead,
to get back to trauma. So when I work with adults and communication between adults and their children, or parents and their children, when a child is screaming and having a tantrum, that is their call for help. Now, we have to have boundaries and consequences with things. And but this is their way of communicating, right? And so when it's saying, I'm hurt, help me. So what do parents typically do sometimes? Stop crying, I'll give you...
Exactly. Stop crying.
Jinx. So if we were to say, come here, darling, I can feel how you're feeling, and let it out.
And allowing them to speak and to bring it
that
from...
means the trauma that they experience allows it to die because it's been accepted.
Yes. Not the trauma was accepted. The place where I was, or the place where the kid is accepted with no judgment.
Yes.
That's, by the way, my
traumatic stain.
That's, by the way, my definition of freedom. Is to be without being judged.
That's right.
To be without being judged. And here is the thing about, and we'll go back to what you were saying.
No, that's good.
The thing about when we are in an emotional space. When I feel sad, I'm not sad. I feel sad. When I'm angry, when I feel anger, I'm not angry. I feel angry. Things are moving. Nothing is, we are not our emotions. We are not our feelings. Because they're fickle, they change. Like today you feel sad, tomorrow you feel blah. Like the other day, I felt like total blah.
Well, look at the Oscars now; everyone's laughing.
Exactly, but what happened then? Everybody, no, but like the other day, like 2 days ago, I was telling you, I felt totally blah. I felt totally and down, and I felt, and it affected the way I felt in my body. And I said, you know what, iLan? And I said, what? And I said, iLan, you said. Because it was number 7, I was talking to number 6.
I got it.
Okay?
No, I do the same thing.
Yeah, so I said, you're just feeling it. Tomorrow is a new day. In an hour is a new hour. And it was fine. And it was fine.
So if you would have called me, I said, oh my God, get over it.
Yeah, you Italian.
Sharmuta.
I didn't teach her that.
Kaki fish garden sharmuta.
Oh my God.
No, but I understood, and it's loving and supporting from a place of understanding.
Very supporting.
So when parents do that with their children, it's not condoning behavior to enable them that every time they cry they get their way, but you are having a moment. It's accepting that it's okay. You have this moment.
Exactly. Now here's the thing.
It's not trying to fix you. It's like, okay, we're gonna just go through this moment and see where it leads you. And you did the best thing. You're like, oh, okay, you wanted to push yourself, but maybe I should do something. They're like, you know what? I'm just gonna rest. And like, wow, look at the beautiful lights coming in.
It is. I can see it like that.
I know. See?
You want to be in the light? Be in the light?
I'm in the light.
You're in the light. The thing is that eventually, bullying, if you're bullied enough and you're aware of that, you become stronger and you eventually come out of it. I remember.
Well, you have a path. You can either become stronger or you
but I think it depends on the situation.
Well, did you have a situation where you were confronted with a bully and finally spoke up and spoke it within and confronted?
Oh yeah.
Because you can be cuckoo inside but still speak up.
So here is the thing. Here's the thing. What happened in high school? I was playing because at the age of 10 I fell in love with Madi Caspi, with this musician, and so every musical event that was in school, I would be involved in it, right? So there was this musical event. It was high school. I think it was like the 10th grade or something like that, and I was setting up the stage, and came Paulie. Now in came this guy. I forgot his name.
Doesn't matter. We're not going to say names.
I don't remember his name even. Also, if I wanted to remember, I don't remember his name.
We'll call him Paulie.
Call him Paulie. So in came Paulie, and in Israel, right? Somebody's named Paulie in Israel.
Paulievich?
In came Sharmut, and he was starting to pick on me. Right now, this kid, he was known not to deal with. Everybody was afraid from. Everybody was not dealing with him. I mean, everybody was like, stay away from this guy, don't know, because he's like, when he gets crazy, his blood goes out of his head and he just hits you. He comes. I don't remember what he said. And then he started telling me, oh, if you do this, I'll... And now inside, I'm like, like a duck in the water, where on the top is like,
cool and calm and collected.
And underneath is like right? Right? And so I told him, what are you gonna do? And he was like, what? It's like, what are you gonna do? You're just talking. You're all talk. Everybody says that about you. You're all talk. What are you going to do? I was doing to him like this. I remember this thing.
Oh, afangu.
I know. I remember my parents.
Afangu.
Oh, Israel, same thing. Close.
Yeah, afangu.
We spit it. Italy is there. If I spit from Israel, Italy is there, right? So, and I said, you're not going to do anything. Take your best shot. I remember that sentence. I said, take your best shot. What are you going to do?
And what did he do?
And he was all the time with his face like this. Yeah, there was this thing that somebody was near me and he said, hold me that I don't kill him. Hold me
back.
Like. He didn't do anything. He like, and then he looked at me and he turned around and he left.
There you go.
And I was like in the sky. And since then, this kid never talked to me. Never. It was 2 more years of school.
Because they're a coward inside.
The guy never spoke with me. So for you, I'm saying, if you're experiencing this Bolshovsky, in Russian, bully is Bolshovsky. No, I'm just kidding. It's not what it sounds Russian. Bolshovsky. If you're experiencing this bullying, understand that they were bullied. Everybody who is bullying was bullied in the past, meaning they know how it feels. And somebody is always overcompensating for what they're lacking or what they see in somebody else, and they want to overcompensate for that. So they will put it upon you. They will put it upon you. And if there is something that you intimidate them with, like Gina with her hair and how she is, and I was with whatever it was, I had hair, but hair was a thing. But remember that they are lacking of that. When somebody bullies you, it's because they want something that you have and they don't. And that is a crucial thing to remember. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to
in the moment it feels like it though, and
at the moment it
dangerous
does.
Situation. We want to take bullying very seriously, and every situation is different, and like I said, what's happening in the world with Ukraine and Russia, and it's scary. It's scary because there is a bully in charge, and the Russian people don't want this as well, and the Ukraine people, and so we put ourselves in the position when we see others being bullied, we help. Mm-hmm. We help in any way we can. That's how we heal ourselves as well. So
yeah, there is go ahead.
No, I just said I understand. I even wrote a book about it. My second book is
Jojo Christo. Not Christo. No, not Christo. Christo is the
Jojo and the bully frog.
Oh yeah,
and he was bullied because his family bullied him, so he didn't know there was another way. Exactly. He thought that's what it was. So of course Jojo taught him from Swampy, who is Billy Gallo actually, my acting mentor, because he's more than just an acting coach, is taught him meditation and breath work, and showed him that the bullying, how it made someone else feel. He didn't realize how it made him feel. Now, not in all cases. So when you look back at the Oscars and perhaps what he was going through, there's something so much deeper than. And then I look at Chris Rock and how is he handling? Like, I worry about him right now. How is he handling? He's fine. Yeah. They think, oh, because you have money, you're fine. It doesn't matter. He's still, I'm sure it left.
He has even more issues because he's so abundant.
And the fact is, I think he's done a lot of work on it. He's been very open. I didn't know this. I started researching, and he was he talked about terrorized and bullied as a young kid, and so I think it's a really good subject to always touch upon in relating our stories, because here we are, and this is the kind of work we do. Why do you think we chose this kind of work? I was a special education teacher for 18 years, and I worked the court system for 11, and I became a counselor and a mentor for the inner child, because who do you think JoJo is? She was birthed from my inner child, and perhaps in my family they didn't think they were hurting my feelings or they were being bullied. It was how I perceived it, and again, my 3 brothers, the one thing we all have, doesn't matter what's going on with us, we're there in any situation. So
there is a sentence in the Gemara. Actually, King Solomon said that. Haposel bemumo posel. That who X's out somebody, X's out something in himself.
Can you explain that?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Meaning, if I see something, if I point out negative things about somebody, or I am saying, oh, you are like this, oh, you are like that, oh, you have there, that is because it is something in me that is not complete. It is something in me that I'm not happy with. It is something in me that I don't like, so I take it upon somebody else. Let's bring it to our knowing, to our language that we talk these days, right? We are reflections of one another. Projections and reflections. This is exactly what it is. Haposel b'mumo posel. To lifsol is to X out somebody, to like discredit somebody, or put down somebody. When somebody puts down somebody in himself. And so when we see somebody, if we are finding and emphasizing what we think is negative in them, what we think is a flaw in them, there is at least 1% true in me of that. At least 1%. There's always at least 1% in me. And why? Because I recognize it. How do I recognize it? Because I know it. How do I know it? Because I have it.
Because you experienced it.
Because I experienced it. Or I am that. Or I've been there. Or I've seen that. Or I've been to that movie and the actor dies at the end. All these kind of things are there. So projections and reflections. When somebody says to you something, it says, don't project on me your own sorrow or your own pain. This is coming from you, right? This is what it was talking about. This was talking about. And it's interesting, I was saying that this portion of this week is called Metzora. What happened? Here, hold this for a second. I have to...
oh, that looks very phallic. Hello, how are you?
Oy vey. No, I need to position my
tuchas.
My tuchas.
On our tree branch.
Exactly. So, Parashat Metzora, the portion of today, of this weekend, is leprechaun. Like when somebody, not leprechaun. When somebody gets the leprosy.
Oh, leprosy. That's different than leprechaun.
No, not leprechaun.
No, go away.
Exactly. And why would people get that? When they would say negative stuff about other person. Lashon hara, the negative speech about another person. And the negative speech, you can say, hey, let's talk about this guy. You say, hey, this guy is not listening, so what do I care? Well, first of all, we omit energies. We omit energies into the world. And second, if I don't know her and I'm talking to her and I'm telling, she tells me about an experience with somebody, and I say, oh, you don't know this guy, man. I tell you, this guy is this and this and this and this and this. That is creating in her a different feeling towards that person. That creates a negative impression in her towards that person. That's if
we're swayed to that, yes, and we are sometimes swayed by that. I feel if you haven't done anything.
Unless it is good, unless I know that person is a crook and that person is doing wrong to people, then it is my duty to say something about it to save her so she doesn't go through that. Yeah. But just to say, oh, he did this,
he's a bad guy.
No. There were stories in the Gemara about different rabbis, that different communities, that like one of the rabbis, of our times, Rabbi Akiva Shinpon, I think, if I may be mispronouncing his name, but anyway, he was the rabbi of one of my rabbis, one that I study with, and. On Shabbat, they bring the kids to play, and his kid came and started crying. And said, "Why are you crying? What happened?" "Oh, somebody hit me. Somebody hit me in the yard." I said, "Okay, tell me who hit you." No. I can't say it's lashon hara. It's evil inclination. No, I can't. It's speaking bad about the other person. No. If it's something that the kid has already ingrained, that community already ingrained, that you don't speak about the other person, especially negative things. You don't speak about the other person negative things. But if it is for the purpose of healing, or if the purpose of helping or doing something productive, that is okay. So anyway, this is about aposel b'mum posel. This is about when somebody sees something in somebody, that's the bully. That is the bullying, that they see something in you that they're either lacking, they're either not complete about, they're either not healed from, and they see it in you, that which they want, that which they desire, that which threatens, they feel threatened by.
Because they want that.
Because they want, like with you with your hair, for example. or whatever, you know, how you were, the innocence of being the way that you were, the playful kid, the kid that only sees good. You know, didn't you have this thing? Didn't you tell me that you had this where people told you, "Oh, you're too happy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I get it. That's
get down. You're too happy."
Yeah, you're too happy, or don't say this, or wanting to control how, because I think positively and everything. And I said, why does age make a difference if I want to go swing? Or they think they put a stigmata on age of this is what you're supposed to do and act like, and I've always just felt like me.
Yeah. Now,
it doesn't matter.
Here's a question. Here's a question for you as well. Let's say you're going to meet one of these bullies, okay?
That has bullied me?
That you bullied you. You know you're going to meet them. Now, somebody is telling you, is gossiping to you, something new that happened to that bully. Let's say that bully just recovered or halfly recovered from drug addiction or drinking, or they did something to their kid or whatever, something horrible, but they don't know that you know it. The bully doesn't know that you know it. Okay? Now why come I see the bully and I know that, God forbid, I hope that he did something to his kid and he just got out of jail. All right? He doesn't know that I know that because you told me about it. Because you were working in the court and you knew him and you told me about
gossiping?
it. And you were gossiping to me.
Great.
But it's not about you. No. Don't gossip. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like, why did I get to be the bad guy? It's okay, I'll play a role.
No, you're not the bad guy. You're just the assistant for the healing. The healing assistant.
There we go.
So
The healing asset.
So let's say, okay, so now I know that the bully did something bad. And now I'm meeting him now. He thinks that he still can bully me. Right? He thinks that he still can bully me like he did in old days, but he doesn't know that I know like deep shit about him. Right? So there are two things that are happening here. First of all, how would I feel? How would you feel if you were in a situation like that? Do you feel intimidated now by this bully? Because like, let's say you would have gone to meet this bully and say, oh, I'm meeting with this bully. I don't want to meet this bully. I don't know how I'm going to react. I don't know what I'm going to say. I'm going to be upset with him. I'm going to do this. And now you told me this piece of information.
Now are you going to turn into the bully and use that against him?
But wait, the question is, first of all, do I feel, there are two things here. Do I feel intimidated? My answer is no, right? Because now I know something. The person is not perfect. The person is wounded.
You humanized him.
I humanized him. Exactly. That's a great thing. I remember the function humanization in computer music, in a music program when digital audio just started. So you know how your computer, you go tack, 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 tack. So let's humanize it.
Well,
so
the bully we see is this out
anyway.
4 second cause pain, and then you humanized him because of it. He's
Exactly.
adding that human experience.
So yeah, I went to computers. I don't know. So I humanized him, right? So now I'm not scared of him. Now the question is, do I turn around and say, dude, give me a fun go. You just came out of jail, man. You want to play with me games? You just did this and this. Go find. Or I try to find a way to enter this person's heart. And you know the sentence eye for an eye, right? It's written in the Torah, also an eye for an eye. And for many years, since I was a kid, I could not understand that. An eye for an eye. What, you mean revenge for a revenge? An eye for an eye?
Where does it get you? But more revenge.
Exactly. But here's the thing. If you are talking to a bully and they don't listen to you, what's the best way to get into them is to find their weak point, right? What happens when
the
soft spot? Okay, soft spot. That's good. I prefer soft spot. What happens when you open to their soft spot? They become soft. And that's the time to go into their heart. So I like to look at eye to eye as a trigger to trigger them to be in that soft space and to say, now, do you know how I felt? I felt exactly what you feel here. And it happened. Actually, as I'm talking about this, it happened. I say, I feel exactly how you felt. Is there a reason that I can tell you something about you that you don't know? No, there is no reason. Can you bring yourself? And it shifted. This is somebody that actually happened. And we shifted and we start talking. And you know, we end up building airplanes together when we were kids.
Wow.
We end up building airplanes from paper.
Beautiful.
Because of that incident. And I knew something about, I don't remember what, but I knew something about this kid. I said, do you see how you feel now? Because suddenly he became soft. So that's exactly how I felt.
And sometimes we don't always get to see that retribution.
Yeah.
But if we can be a conduit to others, if you can't do it even for that, I remember we were always moving, and I moved in. I made the basketball team at the first shot, and I was like, oh, I was so excited, but they didn't like it, the girls. And
of course,
one
they didn't
girl
like it.
pulled my hair. Which I was in junior high, and she goes, "Do you have hair down there?" And I was like, first I was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "How did she know?" Anyway, I was like, and I remember she bullied, and then they would push me, and I came to a point where like, okay, I've got to do something. So I took the ball, and they were throwing it hard at me, and because they didn't like that the new girl came in
and right away got it.
And got in.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
didn't know. I had never played basketball in my life. I just was a natural because I have 3 brothers, and I was into sports my whole life. And so I took the ball, and I remember I threw it at them, and I said, "Do not ever do that to me again." All of a sudden, they became best friends.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's interesting when it's confronted in a way. And I'm like, I didn't know it was going to happen, and it came to a point. And then years later, the girl that did that, she probably doesn't even remember. And a lot of trauma happened to her.
Yeah, for sure,
and
for sure.
My heart went out, and I'm like, and I thought, wow, I could have been ha ha ha. But I was like, no, I needed that moment of, I didn't like my hair pulled, and I didn't like what was said to me because it was very crude and very private to me, and I felt very humiliated because she said it in front of the other girls, and the coach heard, who was a male, and he just said, "Good job, Jane," but I know he heard, and you know how you're trying to cover up, but it was really a good lesson for me because it showed me humility and acceptance and how to resolve. So I think this subject we can go on, and I love that you shared your stories, and I've shared my stories.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing.
No, it's very vulnerable,
really great.
and again, I brought up things about my brother that I hadn't remembered in many, many, many years. All my brothers, like, we're protective of one another. Like, there's no.
Yeah.
My dad taught us that family is first. Family is first.
Yeah.
So it's like I can call them shamut, but you can't call them. Kick your ass. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not violent at all. I wouldn't even know if I...
No, she's not violent. Not at all.
I'm not.
She's not.
I could be.
I said you're not.
I totally could
I said you're not.
But that's the thing. I have the capacity like anybody else.
Yeah.
Anybody else to, so when we look at these criminals and things, and there's always exceptions to the rules, but if anybody hurt my son or daughter, I'd cut their head off and spit down their throat.
With small cubes and put some mustard and vinegar and everything. It'll burn.
I'm just saying we all have the capacity for it. So I know we're going off on tangent. Who knows if there's any fluidity to this show? But if you have picked up something, I would love to know about it.
Yes, we would love to know about
touched upon you.
Exactly.
And you don't have to write in, but we'd love to hear from you.
Exactly. Yeah. This has been great. This has been great sitting here and enjoying this. And I won't say, it came to me another story. I remember my grandmother, she used to work, all the time when she came to visit, when I was a kid, she went to work, and she came to our house like 2-3 times a week. Every time she would come, she would bring me a car, because I would collect cars. I had like those Matchbox cars.
Yes.
I had like 500 of them. I had like hundreds of them.
You remember the case, the plastic case, and you
everything.
Yeah,
Anyway. So she brought me a helicopter once, and I was like psyched. I was, oh my God. That evening, I stayed with my brother Avi, and my sister Sima.
Hi, Sima.
Right?
I know you too.
And Avi told me, hey, why didn't you see? Go check on the porch. The helicopter flies. Really? Yeah, just throw it. It'll fly.
No.
It'll fly. So I said, yeah, fly. And I threw it, and of course, crashed. And of course he laughed and stuff like that. And Sharmut. Anyway, so those are between brothers. I don't see this as bullying. I see this as mischievous actions.
I do too, yeah.
It's not really, so you cry.
I could tell you stories. That's a whole series. What happened in Alito, Texas, and the frogs, and the alligator, and the snakes, and
the toothless alligator.
No, I have a toothless shark in my sea angel Tony.
Oh yeah, that's right. Right. He's not eating.
Yeah. I am working on my 4th and 5th book.
Oh
so
wow!
I'm excited. Jojo rides the rails of when I hopped to freight train. So,
and we're working on a book on Jojo going to the Earth ship.
Yes.
Jojo in the Earth ship. If you don't know what an Earth ship is, you can Google it, but you can ask us as well.
Exactly. Oh, it's fascinating. So yeah, he has a character. He's going to be Kofiko.
Kofiko.
A monkey.
Kofiko.
Kofiko.
We gave away Kofiko now.
It's okay. No,
Okay.
Kofiko is in the story. So.
Okay, yeah. Kofiko.
Anyway.
Kofiko is the Israeli version of when I grew up of Curious George. It was this Sharmu chimpanzee.
But
that
you're
was
like a monkey because you love bananas.
I love
he
bananas.
eats like bananas all day long.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, it's really great. But anyway, this show has been really great. I really
fun.
enjoyed this.
I hope you'd enjoy it. If you didn't, we enjoyed it.
Yeah, if you didn't enjoy it, that's fine.
And Mike enjoyed it.
Mike enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. You know, if you
And
enjoyed
whoever
it,
listens, please pass it
Yes.
on. And if you think this could be a value or if we can be a value, reach out. You know,
Yes.
we both do our own work. But he does amazing sound. I was very super sensitive to sound until I met him, actually. I didn't like sound bath and sound healings. And like my eyes are watering even thinking about it because it was so painful. And so he has amazing sound, among other things. But that's his healing, one of the strongest healing modalities. So check out his website.
thank you. Bodysoulsound.com. Her website is Gina Ann Actor.
Gina Ann, author.
She has actor too, but it's going to be up soon.
Yeah.
But GinaAnnAuthor.com. I want to talk about the sound, for example.
Well,
You were
let's do the
mentioning-
next show.
We're talking about the sound and women. Sound and women.
Yeah, that's the next show.
I'm going to talk about sound frequencies and women. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So, tune for our next show. And until then, à tout à l'heure. Arrivederci.
Ciao.
Arrivederci. Ciao.
Ciao.
Shalom.
See ya.
Nitrot. Kishtama. Bye-bye.
Okay.
This is Abracadabra. Create what you speak. Gina Ann, iLan Azoulai. Much love to you. Bye-bye.
Bye.